Right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Aspiring Women Achieving More Masterclass. I could not be more excited to have my friend, and this woman is fantastic, does incredible work, has helped me a bunch of times on a bunch of properties, and I can't wait to hear her 2 cents on what's in and out of design stuff because she sure saved my butt on at least one flip, 2 flips probably. No, you don't want that choice. Make this choice type of stuff. So Linda Minogue. Please, Linda, take us away.
Thank you, Mandy. Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday. I guess it's hump day, unless you work weekends like we sometimes do, but so glad to be here and share some information with you. Before I start going through my presentation, I always want to preface it with just one little tidbit of information. We are accredited home stagers, and I always like to let everyone know we are not interior designers. And so does our industry parallel interior design? Absolutely. And we have to know trends and stay on trend and work with design every single day. But I always like to let people know I don't have that designation, just to be clear. So let's dive right in, and I'm going to give you just a little bit of background information on me, my company, and what we do, and then we'll talk about the meat of the presentation. So I am Linda Minogue, the CEO, founder, and accredited staging professional of Room Refreshment Staging. We are in the Naperville, Lisle area. I have 4,000 square feet of warehouse full of staging inventory that we use for occupied homes, rentals, vacant stagings, models, and so forth. But the meat and potatoes of our business really is about the consultation. So we'll touch on that in a second. We've been doing this since 2008. I actually launched my company in 2010. And so glad I did. In 2008, I don't know if any of you young sweet peas were around then, but that's when the market tanked and the real estate market was ridiculous. But I actually staged and renovated and staged and had a realtor sell my home in 6 weeks, which was pretty remarkable in 2008 because that was one hell of a year. We are insured, accredited. Everyone that works with me is either accredited or in the process of being a staging professional. And we, just like realtors, have to get recertified and stay on trend and take continuing ed every single year. I am very proud that we have won the last 3 years in particular, the Best of Home Staging Awards for the trifecta, which is client care, staging excellence, and industry leadership. So I like to pat myself on the back just a little bit and say we got it going on, because we do. And so I'm just proud of that. So the bulk of our services is the design and color consultation. And we do work with a lot of homeowners, but a lot of our guidance goes and is directed towards investors, flippers, and landlords of rental properties. We are color and design specialists, again, not interior designers. So do we know trends and stay on top of that? Absolutely. And we are color certified. So we can give guidance and direction on most anything that you need in terms of finishes and colors, cabinetry, whatever, and have sources sometimes that we can push along to you guys. We also, again, do a lot of vacant and model homes. So we're working with those builders. So we see more of the current trends. And some of the things I'm going to talk about today may not be applicable, especially to like rentals, only because they are trends, but we will talk about them nonetheless. So if you haven't had time to look at or ever even considered the profile of home staging, please check it out. This, I did put a link, but I guess you guys can't tap on that. Sorry. So Google 2021 profile of home staging. It's by the National Association of Realtors. And it's got some very valuable information about home staging and why that is important to everybody in your arena. we always want the visual presentation, best visual presentation of a property, and staging is just part of that. Whether you're having a professional do it or you're doing it yourself, it's just super important to consider that. So facts, figures, and statistics are on there, worth a read. Home staging increases the dollar value of your listings and reduces the time on market. Now, that said, this has been the craziest darn year, and I'm sure everyone that's in the business has already known that. Properties flying off the market with multiple offers. That is not usually the norm, and I don't see that being an ongoing trend, past the next probably 6 months. I mean, I don't have a crystal ball and can't look into it. If I did, I'd be a bazillionaire. But nonetheless, staging is super important, even if it's just a virtual kind of a thing, which we'll talk about a little later too. So let's dive right in. And as a home stager and professional businesswoman that's been in this business for 13 years, my best advice for you that flip, invest, rent, or sell property is this. Everyone loves the trend, the trendiest, newest, fashionable, whatever it is, outfit, home decor, paint color. And the key word there is trend. And as and when you're marketing a property, and that's exactly what you're going to do after you have it ready to either sell or rent, is that you want to attract your clientele. So if you introduce a trend when you're in that process, it's going to be more attractive to everyone, just like is to you if you're going out to buy a new coat or sweater or piece of jewelry. But so the important thing is, if you're going to use a trend when you're fixing up a property, be sure that the current trend is you're using balance and harmony, and that you have a cohesive look throughout the entire property. Always consider the age demographic of your target market. So at Room Refreshments, we are buyer trend specialists, which means that we have to, and willingly do, keep our finger on the pulse of what the trends are for each particular generational buyer, if you will. And just to touch on that for a brief moment, an example would be if you were selling or renting to a millennial, their taste is going to be 100% different than if you were going to market to, say, a boomer or even an older Gen X. So millennials in particular like nothing formal. And if they are in a property that has like a formal dining room, they're going to turn that into a home office or a kid's toy room, where maybe an older Gen X or certainly a boomer would use that space for dining or entertaining on a special event. So those are the kinds of things you need to consider. Maybe not to that specific degree, but that's where someone like me can help guide you through that process. But at least know your market and who it is you're trying to reach. Are you a rental property in the city that's, strictly millennials or younger? Then you need to attract those people visually and through your design and decor. Also, keep in mind the price point of the property you're selling or renting, and renovate accordingly. None of us want to go over budget. And so it's exceedingly more difficult with everything we're going through right now, especially with supply chain issues and building material problems and costs on the rise, to set a good budget and then renovate accordingly. So again, we can help guide you through budget-friendly changes and updates that are on trend or trendy, but also budget-friendly. And I eke this next one in, budget for curb appeal, because this is a real stickler for me. I work with a lot of flippers that just are so gung-ho, and they get in there and they do this gorgeous job inside, and then it's time to market the property, and guess what? There's no money left for curb appeal updates. And that's what's going to be so important. It's the first impression people have when they drive up to a property. So we're going to talk about that. Also, do a very thorough review of the competition in your area and try to offer something better or different, or, extra, because that's what, another thing that's going to help attract your buyers. So do a thorough review of any of the comps in your area. And lastly, always create a great visual appeal or presentation. And that's through professional photos, staging, and remember that flipping a house is a team sport. So you need to have the right team of people in your corner to help get the job done. So what is out? And I have to use the word traditional. Anything traditional is long gone. It's not out. It's seen its day and it's buried in the ground. But we still see homes and properties that have a lot of these dated elements in it. And so if you can eliminate them when you're doing your flips or renovation, please do. So the tile countertop has seen its day, not even something a little bit more, and I use this term loosely, sleek as this one you're seeing in our picture, but the pattern tile. And we just saw a property in Palos Hills yesterday, and the kitchen countertop was the old-fashioned 2-inch square ceramic tile with grout, and it was nasty. And that's something circa, I think, like the 50s. So let it go. There's a time and place for tile and pattern tile, but on the countertop is not one of them. Then there's the paneled and, oh gosh, louvered shutters. I forgot about those. Look, that has also been around a long time in older properties. If it's not in your budget to take the paneling down, get rid of the shutters and paint the paneling. Paint is the answer to almost anything. And if you pick the right color and the right finish, you can update a property on a budget without having to rip that all down. Ripping it down is preferred, but if it's not in your budget to do that, you can fix it up. So let's talk about gold fixtures, anything in the kitchens, bathrooms, light fixtures, hardware, doorknobs, hinges. That shiny brass has come and gone. Is gold back? Yes, but it's not this kind of gold. So that is, still a throwback to the 70s and 80s. So we're seeing more of the burnished gold or matte gold, and that's trending. And I'm not sure if that's going to be around a while. It's been around for a bit, and it's still inserting itself in a lot of home decor. So you just kind of have to watch and guess. But younger people love it. So that might be a trend that, not the shiny stuff again, but matte gold might be something you may want to gravitate to. The cinder block wall and window has come and gone, and some people have tried to resurrect that just a bit, but it's not working. So it's an old school look. Time to let it go, just like the popcorn ceiling. So also out, and these are a lot of still traditional things, is the Tuscan kitchen, as you'll see on the slide on the left picture. So everything in there is pretty much traditional and waning in favor. Not waning, it's gone. So granite had its day. A sea of granite we're just done with that. Anything with that old school plastered walls that was like that Tuscan look. Light fixtures with shaded globes, the scrolliness on any metal, whether it's on your stair balusters or it's on your light fixtures, it's seen its day. Vertical blinds have already come and gone. Now, you may still be able to get away with vertical blinds, especially in a rental or in a lower end property where the price point isn't quite so high and the expectation from buyers is moderate. It's a good window covering on a budget, but there's other ways to, do it without using vertical blinds. And then my personal favorite, the honey oak home, where we just have seen a sea of it. I'm in Naperville. Every house I go into seems like they still have it. So it's the honey oak floor with the cabinetry, with the island, with the molding and trim. And then a lot of people also introduce honey oak furniture. So it's just, way too much. And honey oak, it has a color, And if I want to name that color, I'm going to call it orange. And not even an undertone. And some of it is just more orange and then more yellow, but it's just too much. So it's time to let that go. And again, if it's not in the budget to change that out and redo the whole kitchen because the cabinetry is in good shape, paint is your answer. So less obvious, but still waning in favor. And, I'm going to maybe get challenged on this is gray. Gray has been around actually for 10 full years. And it, was all the trend. We're still seeing it. People are still using it. People still ask me for gray recommendations for wall color and cabinetry. And for cabinetry, I have to say it's okay, but we're getting away totally from the cool grays. And part of that is not that it's just been overused, but it's not a welcoming, warm color. And especially in, where we live in Chicago, how many gray days do we have, especially in the winter? And you have a home full of gray, you need to put some serious pop of color in there to make that interesting, especially if you're marketing a property. Now, if you've already invested in volume product in the gray tones, by all means, use it. Don't dump it and opt for something else. Use it up, but then moving forward, gravitate to something else. So other than grays, like the gray flooring, we're not seeing that anymore. Gray cabinetry is still kind of a trend, and we'll touch on that in a minute. But gray, the cool gray wall colors are gone, and we'll take, use some grays still in the grayish, which is a warm gray in the family. So we'll also show you some of that. And shiplap has seen its day. Actually, mostly farmhouse anything is starting to lose traction in favor of more clean, modern lines. So what is in, and this is just, my professional and personal point of view, is classic and timeless. And the reason for that, mostly, not only because it's clean and modern and attractive, but it helps avoid the need to constantly renovate, which is so important, especially in rentals. If you're going to use something more trendy, or if on the other end of the spectrum, you've got something old, you're going to have to update it at some point. Old things are going to have to be refurbished or replaced because they just wear out. Trendy things are only going to hang on for a very short period of time. That's why, like, the paint companies come up with color of the year, and there's a new color every single year because it's a trend and they're trying to sell paint. So classic and timeless things are, it's really the look and the way to go so that you don't have too trendy. If you want trendy and you love it, stick with a classic timeless background, and then introduce the trendy themes through your staging for your furniture and accessories, artwork, and your pop of color. So that also, this is an important fact, and don't permanently glue any trendy finishes down or install them anywhere, because it'll be too costly to remove that. And in particular, I'm thinking about a lot of the pattern tiles that we love them, they're fun, they're exciting, but once you have those down on the floor or in the shower, and then that trend wanes in 2-3 years, then now what? Now you're stuck with it. Now, the other thing is, if you're using those trends for a property that you're selling, you can get away with it, because most likely and hopefully that property is going to sell quickly. So with the trend, you're going to attract, the buyers, and then they're going to make the offer, buy it, and it's gone, and it's renovations are on them. So we'll talk about flooring just a second. So we said just a minute ago, gray is out. Gray flooring is come and gone. And we don't want honey oak. So what's trending are the lighter woods. And if that is too blonde for you, because sometimes when you couple those lighter floorings with light wall color, it looks pretty washed out, especially in photography. So you may consider warmer woods, and by warm, I don't mean dark. You know, we went with those dark, almost black or espresso colored floors for several years, and they were pretty, but man, every speck of anything would show up on them, where the lighter floors are a little bit more forgiving, plus they're light, bright, fresh, classic, and modern. So introducing a light wood floor and trim either to match or stick with white trim, you really can't go wrong. And then if it's too blah, you introduce some warm woods in your cabinetry and your trim. So let's see where we are at. Lost my space there. Tile, subway tile has been around for a long time as well. And it is classic and timeless, but I think that it's better to use it in an unconventional way. So hang it herringbone or do it vertical instead of horizontal. And it is a budget friendly, you know, piece of material. So I think it still has value and is workable in most any situation, bathrooms or kitchens. My personal favorite is the picket tile. And you'll see that one standalone tub with the black and white vertical picket tile there, which is fun. And that you could do a focal wall in a picket tile in color and get away with that, especially if you're selling or you're marketing a property to a younger crowd. And let's see, something's hiding over here. I gotta find out what that is. Our right corner, can't see what I left there. Well, anyway, moving on. So where are we? We're going to talk about paint. So the gray paint again is out. In terms of color, you really want to stay neutral for selling or renting. If you want trends, then the palette on the far right is what's trending in late 2021, 22. You're going to see these colors. And again, paint companies want to sell paint, so they're going to come up with new colors every year. But I'm seeing that a lot of people are gravitating, especially toward the greens. So Sherwin-Williams has Evergreen Fog is their color of the year. It's kind of a green with a gray undertone. Purposeful. If you like that kind of a color, I would rather see that introduced through decor than on the wall, because then you can stay on trend, use that cute little new color or any other color on the palette as your accent color and still keep the neutral look of the property, especially in rentals, so you don't have to change it frequently. Although in rentals, you do probably paint every time you get a new tenant. But the garages are still trending. These colors on the Grayish family will certainly give some contrast to your blonde or light wood flooring, so you don't have that washed out look. But the warm whites we're all over that right now. It's kind of like that Scandinavian look, and you'll see that in some of the photos I'm going to share with you in just a second. So paint, as I said just a little while ago, it can cover a multitude of sins. And right now, my lead stager, Julie, and I are all over painting fireplaces. We're just like, gosh, hate that. Let's change it. So we're either doing a wash or painting, and we're not doing opaque paint, but we're doing a wash on a lot of fireplaces. And just from these two examples, you can see what a difference that makes. It's just a hit refresh kind of a thing and makes the whole room just pop and look more modern and sleek. There's also the fireplaces that have the big boulders, like they were popular in the 60s and the 70s. Those can be painted. You can either do them by hand, which is really a chore, but a lot of painters will set up a spray booth and they'll cover the room and then they'll spray that, and it looks really very nice, because then it's an architectural element that pops, but it's more modern because you've taken the icky color out of it and made it fresh. So if anybody wants insider tips on how to do that, or what materials to use, you message me and we'll talk.
You use we have a good question here from Lorena. Can you
Okay.
use a high heat spray paint to paint the inside of a large
Oh,
fireplace?
that is an excellent question. And I'm so glad you brought that up because, yeah, the inside should always be black. So you use like a stove paint or, yeah, a high heat paint. And the other thing is a lot of fireplaces, like the one on the left, the smaller one, not the whole tall one, has glass doors. And those glass doors have that shiny gold finish on them, and actually took the doors off and spray painted them with Rust-Oleum satin black paint, and then wanted to replace the handles and couldn't find handles to fit the holes in the doors because the doors are from the 90s and I could not find handles that were going to fit that. So I just popped those off and spray painted them too and put them back on. So, paint is your friend, whether it's spraying that or painting the inside of the fireplace or painting a light fixture. A lot of budget friendly ways to make updates, especially if you're not going to have to keep renovating it a rental. So homes for sale, these are great for flippers. Great ideas. Good question. Thank you. So kitchens are modern and sleek. We're kind of running the gambit from, super modern. And again, these are trends. I'm still seeing the all white kitchen is favored. Personally, kind of growing tired of it, but it still works, especially in a lot of rentals or tiny kitchens because it's light, bright, fresh. Who doesn't like it? I like it mixed with pops of black, like you see in the picture in the upper left corner. So black light fixture, maybe a black backsplash, or black fixtures like a black faucet. Not a big fan of black sinks, but they're around and they do look kind of cool. So again, it depends on personal preference and your target market and your price point, but you can still get away with a white kitchen. The picture with the yellow dining chairs there, that's kind of the trend right now. That light flooring, the light cabinetry, you can see the trim wood there is also kind of matching. They did use a creamy white wall color. So it's fresh, light, bright, modern, and sleek. I can't zoom in on that right now, but I'm thinking they don't even have any cabinet hardware. And that's also another trend. It's just like the push open cabinet doors without any hardware. So I think that really gained steam during the pandemic. People were like germaphobes. And I'm like, well, what difference does it make if you touch a handle or if you touch the cabinet door? But people just didn't want to clean all the knobs and, handles on cabinetry. So we're going in this direction. But it is a good look. It's fresh, modern, and sleek. And I think that you're going to see a lot of that going on moving forward. And then if you're in a luxury property, I don't know how many people do luxury, but there's ever room in a property for double islands, that is all the rage. So one is like a workstation cook surface, the other for eating, dining, entertaining. And everyone gravitates towards the kitchen. So if you have the space to do that, why not? Let it roll. And then we're seeing more of the gold in the kitchens, different color cabinetry. That is also trending among millennials and Gen X's. So you might see like white uppers and darker lowers in the kitchen, bathrooms too, not uppers, but the gray cabinetry is still a thing and that works. But we're also seeing colors. I mean, I've seen everything from pink and green and cobalt blue, sage green cabinets. So you use caution with that. If you're selling, go for it. If you're in a rental property, maybe not, because that's probably not still going to be a thing in another 3 years. Okay, and appliances. So, first of all, I like to point out on the very right side of the screen there, always look at the life expectancy of your appliances, and anymore, they just don't last. And I have to tell a dirty little secret here. I have a dryer that I received as a gift from my parents when I had my firstborn. He is 35 and that dryer still works. Do you even in your wildest dreams think you could get the life of a dryer for 35 years? It seems like every other year I'm replacing some kind of appliance in my home. So especially in rentals, this is for rentals. This is so important that you buy a decent quality appliance that's going to give you some life. And the LG and Samsung seem to be really good for moderate flips and for rental properties. Now, if you're in high end or luxury, your clientele is going to require more high-end appliances. So, that's another whole story. But I'm also we're still seeing stainless steel is still trending, but we're seeing more gunmetal finishes only. And I think they make stainless where it's fingerprint free, but the gunmetal finishes, they kind of resist a lot of the fingerprints. So they just look fresh and sleek a little bit longer. And oops, I skipped ahead too fast. Sorry. So just a kitchen recap real quick. Again, the cabinetry can be white or choose a lighter warm wood. That's going to stand the test of time. We're still big fans of quartz countertops. If budget's a problem or a concern, or you can't afford quartz, you can always do butcher block or some other finish. Stay away from Formica if you can. And again, no tile tops. And granite depends on your price point, but seen it today, but you can maybe get away with that in some markets. So we're seeing also, in addition to the subway and picket tile, that people are wrapping the quartz up. I did see a picture of that in the kitchen that I missed. Perhaps if you saw that, I can go back if you want, but you lay the countertop down or the quartz down on your countertop, and then you just wrap it all the way up as your backsplash. It's clean, sleek, and then you don't have to lay tile on the backsplash.
While we're on the countertops, Linda, we have a good question here. If you have a super bold granite, let's say orange, and you don't want to replace it, what is a good potential option there?
So you're going to take it out? You mean
She doesn't want to take it out.
They don't want to take it out?
Yeah, Nikki, pipe up if you have more.
So this is when we bought the house on a short sale a few years ago, and it was one where they upgraded everything, but like their upgrading taste was terrible.
Okay.
But the materials are still fabulous.
You or do not want to replace it?
I'm trying not to replace it because it's in great condition, but it is a very orange. It just gives the whole house this very
What
orange.
would you do on that, Linda?
Yeah, so you may want to see if anybody can paint it. There are paints that you can use. It's not going to stand the test of time though, because it's granite. You put paint on granite, it's going to have to be roughed up somehow, and maybe a chemical, application or something, and then something else applied to it, like some kind of a paint. Not really super familiar with how that works, but research it and see if there's a way to do that. I know that orange granite. I had that. Actually, mine was more goldy orange, and it's like gouge your eyes out. So I get it. And it's really the first thing they're going to see when they look at the pictures or walk into the room. So if you really, really can't afford to change it, like if paint isn't the option and replacing it isn't either, then just try to, through staging, tone it down the best you can. So trays or, put placemats with decor on them or something to kind of take the eye away from it. And anytime you have a color that's an aversion to people like that, use a neutral, white or black will kind of tone it down. But as far as changing it, I don't know what the quick fix is there. I've not seen that happen where someone actually painted it and it looked good. So just food for thought. Good question though.
Are you seeing the epoxy countertops do well?
Yeah, they are. I don't, they haven't been around long enough that I know the test of time on that, but they're attractive and affordable. So I think you can use that too. Let's see, where did I leave off? We talked about appliances, sinks. We're still seeing a lot of farmhouse sinks, if that's your thing. The porcelain sinks are expensive, but they're lovely. Personally, I like quartz sinks. I think we found one on Amazon for like $100. They're not super durable, but they pair nicely with your quartz countertops and your white kitchens. And as long as you put in the metal rack protective bottom in there, you'll be good. So probably not practical for rentals, but for flips, certainly they're lovely. And then your hardware and faucets, you know, very trendy, are black and gold. I love the black gold. I've already been through that. It's not my first rodeo with gold, so not a big fan, but again, another market loves them. Younger people love all the gold. So if you want to do gold in a house that you're flipping for sale, you can get away with that. In a rental, you may want to stick with brushed nickel or black, or even the bronze. And always consider extra goodies that if they're in your budget. Putting an island even in a rental would be amazing. I just realized I got sun over here. I'll probably have to close my blind if that bothers you. But even if you had an island on wheels, just that's an extra selling point. It's something that maybe your competition isn't offering. So if you can squeeze in an island, or consider under cabinet lighting, even puck lighting is better than nothing. Those are just like little extras that other people may not be offering. Big trend, command center or charging station. And of course, everything is, you know, getting smarter than I am. So if you have smart anything you can put into a property, that's going to appeal to the masses. So let's move on to bathrooms. Bathrooms, you have a little bit more wiggle room, I would say, in your design than you would in a kitchen, but still equally important. And the trend is for sleek, modern, spa vibe, especially after everything we've been through in the last, you know, 18 months or so. People just, that's their refuge, is just go lock themselves in the bathroom and cry. No, but seriously, the spa environment is trending. And I think, you know, it's a welcoming look that people love. So still seeing a lot of white. Again, the neutral flooring. They are introducing more modern things like colored vanities and fun shaped mirrors. In here, you can get away with more color on the wall. Like, I think that picture in the lower corner is probably Sherwin-Williams sea salt. Great color for bathrooms, regardless if it's a powder or a primary suite. It just has that spa vibe that you like. A chandelier is always fun in a bathroom. Odd shaped mirrors, we're seeing more of that. Take down the sheet mirror. Oh my gosh, those have been around forever, but here's a budget friendly fix for that. If you have a sheet mirror over a bathroom vanity and you can't take it down or won't take it down, go to mirrormate.com. mirrormate.com. And what you do is you measure your sheet mirror, and then you go on there, measure twice, order once, and you go on the website and you can select your width and your color or finish, and it's a peel and stick already mitered frame. And it really updates that. Not the preferred, but it will certainly give it a fresher look than just that one big sheet of glass that I don't know about you, but I don't want to walk in there naked. And then we're seeing more of the floating vanities. I think that's super important in bathrooms because it's easy to get under there and clean. The only problem with that is there isn't a lot of option for storage. And so if storage is a thing, especially if you're selling, you may want to look at enclosed cabinetry in the bathroom. Another super big trend that seems to be sticking around, and it's been around for, I want to say 2-3 years, is the wet room. And that's where you've got, the whole wall of showers and or the standalone tub, all in one enclosed, probably separate, sometimes glassed in area. Very different, unique, and modern, but probably expensive. So, again, you have to look at your price point and your target market to see if that's something that's going to bring you value moving forward. So bathrooms recap: clean lines, calm colors. If you do nothing else, then put in a spa shower head. Do it. That's just an extra fun thing that people love. Standalone tubs have been around for a while. I'm not sure why. I don't think any real human people can fit in them, but it's a look. And then we're still seeing quartz in the bathrooms. A lot of hex tile, that's still popular. You can probably do a pattern in the bathroom if it's subtle. And if you do a black and white tile, not super busy, but just like, not a penny tile, but maybe a hex tile in black and white, you can then put in the black shower door and black faucets, which are just so sleek and modern and attracted to the masses. And then again, we said unusual shaped mirrors. So we're seeing not just round, but maybe, and not oval, but like a square mirror with like rounded edges. You get what I'm saying there?
What do you think of a shower wall panel?
Like with a niche in there for like your soaps and stuff, or like the floating tile?
Is that what you mean, Lorena? Or do you mean?
No, like a big shower panel that has like the spray jets and the big rain shower head.
Oh, totally good. Those,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, that's a like a more tamed down version of the wet room. So I think that's a really good thing to go after. People want luxury. After everything we've been through, whether it's a rental or a flip, they want to feel like they're gonna, have this refuge in their bathrooms and in their home. So any little extra nuances like that you can introduce would be awesome. And I think people love that. Okay, any other questions on bathrooms from me? Move on to lighting. And so can lighting is still the preferred. We're still using a lot of can lighting, great for small spaces, can light up a space like nobody's business, but we're seeing a lot of renovators swap it for some more stylish flush mount fixtures. The problem I see with that is you would need a whole lot of flush mount fixtures to replace the same light output that you get from can lighting. So I think can is, in my opinion, the best way to go. You don't have a lot of things hanging from the ceiling. It's clean and it gives a lot of light output. But if you're going to do anything else that hangs, like pendants, we're still seeing pendants in the kitchens. We're still seeing some more modern sconces in like primary bedrooms and bathrooms. And then, more modern lighting in over the vanities. I would recommend that, as much as I like these new fixtures with the Edison bulbs, read the light output on that, because they're not super bright. And so when you're going to move that property, either through a rental or for sale, you want as light and bright as you possibly can get. And the Edison bulb, as fun as it is, it just doesn't give enough light. So consider that. You could use them in like a pendant when it's coupled with something else like can lighting. But really, again, in Chicago in the winter, trying to move a property, you want to have all the lights on at the highest wattage lumen that you can muster. And speaking of that, I'm trying to think what the number is off the top of my head without checking. So the new thing is the Kelvin range, and maybe you guys are more familiar with that than others, but the Kelvin range is the color or temperature of the light bulb. And there's a sweet spot, and it's, I think, between 28K and 32K. Don't quote me exactly on that, but it's in that range is the sweet spot for professional photography. So if you can introduce light bulbs in that range, your property's going to look stunning, both in pictures and for showings. So, I mean, I know especially in rentals, you need to be more cognizant of your dollars, and you want to put in, energy efficient lighting. But some of those bulbs, and I'm not trying to think what they are, what you call that. Well, it's cooler on the Kelvin range, so I can't think of the number, but they look almost blue light. They're not daylight. They're almost like a fluorescent. And that is just not attractive when you're trying to move a property. So keep that in mind. And even if you use that kind of bulb later, at least, don't use it when you're showing the property. If you need to introduce them later, then go for it. So let's see what else. So again, we're minimalistic in our fixtures. So a lot of shades are black, white, or gray. We're seeing a lot of gold still. The drum shade style is still good for your flush mount or semi-flush mounts. We're still seeing a lot of the clear glass. The problem with the clear glass fixtures is if you put in a bulb that's not like an Edison bulb or a frosted bulb, then it almost gouges out your retinas. So sometimes it's too much. So there's a sweet spot there too. You kind of have to play with the light bulb. And always, 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 I can't stress this enough, always look at the UL sticker in the fixture and put the highest maximum wattage or lumen that the fixture can withstand without going over. We don't want fires. So be careful, but get as much light and bright in there as you can. And then don't forget your exterior lights. So curb appeal, I said I was going to talk about this because this is my bone of contention, is that we get to a property after everyone's done all their beautiful things inside, and you pull up and go, oh Lordy, what's going on here? Because they run out of money. So, start the process when you get to that property. Do something with the lawn. Put some fertilizer or weed killer or call a professional and get that party started, and then have your contractors stay off the grass while they're doing the renovations if you can, just because you need time for that to grow. We've seen some cases in the summer where people have actually spray painted their lawn green. And I'm not kidding. This is a thing. And you can maybe get away with it short term, like for photos, but it's probably going to kill the grass. So just make an effort to do what you can with the landscaping. So budget in for that. Always a fun color on the door or something, that's going to pop with whatever you've got going on. Paint, again, just is like the fixer upper for everything. If you can't change the siding, or, well, it's not siding, but what is it? Wood trim, paint it, give it a fresh look, because it's going to be what they see in pictures when you're marketing your property. And again, when your potential client pulls up to the property. So always, show that curb appeal. Put in new light fixtures. Menards is a great source. They have great modern things on a budget. Landscaping lights, that kind of lights up your walkway. Even if you can't put in pavers, just, light it up, make it fresh and fun. So it's attractive, and make sure you can see the house numbers from the street, that the doorbell works, and put down a welcome mat unless your stager's going to bring that. So curb appeal trends: paint the exterior if needed, and absolutely update or paint the color of the front door, or replace it if you need to. But this is another place you can get away with something more trending, because how hard is it to change the paint color on the front door? I personally have probably repainted my front door 6 times in, different colors over the years.
Give us some examples that work well for a front door now.
So right now we're still seeing a lot of the light blues. Wait, let me go back a slide. Was that in there? So yeah, see the teal colored door or light colored door, both those colors are working. We're still seeing a lot of yellow doors. Red works, not, it's kind of seen its day. Black is amazing, depending on what else you've got going on the curb. But then if you're getting into these new doors that, oh, I forget what you call them, but more modern doors, they come in like, they're in a wood tone, so they're beautiful just the way they are. But if you're going to do a fun front door, kind of depends on what else is going on with the house, but still the blues are working. Cobalt blue or navy blue works. White is sometimes a good choice. Depends, if you have like a house that's got like red brick, don't do a red door, go with something neutral. Just like we said about the countertops just a few minutes ago. If you've got something that's really bright and it's gonna get the eye going there, tone it down with a neutral. So black or white or cream work. But if you want to color, certainly, there's the greens. Oh my gosh, the greens are so popular now too, in almost any hue. So that's kind of personal preference. And again, consider your market. Is it a younger crowd or is it, someone a little older? But you're not going to see anybody pretty much unless you're flipping or renovating a senior community. Your market's going to probably be somebody 55 or certainly under, depending on where you are. So paint the exterior, paint the door, landscape, or if you can't even put in new landscaping, please put fresh mulch. It really covers up a lot of boo-boos. And repair and seal coat the driveway if you can't replace it or don't need to. Modern exterior lighting, doorbell, mailbox, house numbers. And then for you guys that are landlords, yard space is super important. And how many people have we seen, just wanting to hang out in their backyard this last year? So if you can carve out, a little patio and put a patio set, or, I know retractable awnings are a little bit more expensive, but that's another perk that's just attractive to your target market. So other upgrades and improvements that we're seeing that are trendy, and almost every house that we're seeing is starting to go in this direction. They are creating or offering home office workstation, or there's that word again, command center. And I'm seeing a lot of new construction where the command center is actually in the mudroom, which makes sense. Kids come in, drop all their crap, and maybe do their homework or whatever. And then all the schedules go up on the board, and it just kind of keeps that mess there and not the rest of the house. But I think that, we've all been working from home for so long. I don't see that changing. People will still be working remote, even if they go in or commute, once a week or even less. So a workstation or a command center or home office certainly is important to offer. And then we're seeing a lot of serving bars with the beverage cooler. So if you can carve out a place to put that, you're ahead of the game. And smart anything. I mean, everything we do, from thermostats and doorbells and safety locks on the door to, an Echo in the kitchen. So consider anything smart. Even furniture is going in that smart direction, where we're seeing like charging pads built into furniture. So, and, extra places to plug in. And that's another thing, just have, plenty of places for charging stations, because everybody's all about that all day, every day. So just extra perks that you can offer. And I think that's it, unless you have special questions. If you want more information, I'd be happy to put you on our monthly newsletter list, or I can send you a copy of our staging services menu, or you can make an appointment or hit me up and I'll, can answer a few questions here and there. And I do offer volume discounts to anyone needs to do multiple properties or, buy things in mass. give me a call. So questions?
I love it. Linda, if you don't mind, unsharing your screen here real quick.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I can do that.
One note on for our landlord friends here on the smartphone, the ability to plug in your, what is it, the USB cord type things. I've had some friends have success doing, charging like $20 extra per month for the, connectivity package. So if you're looking for something to juice that NOI, maybe that's a good choice.
I think
So
that's
do
great.
we have any additional questions for our girl? I'll tell you too, and I don't know if this is like a normal thing or because Linda's my girl. She's done a FaceTime consultation. So you're talking to people who are like as far away as Belize right now, who are real estate investors in Florida, Belize, all over the place, right? So maybe tell us just briefly, if somebody wants to work with you and they're too far away, what does that potentially look like?
That's a phone call. That's all it is. It's a FaceTime phone call, or we can do a Zoom meeting if you like. But if we want to walk through your property live, can certainly do that. Do that all the time. So that could be anything from seeing what you've got while you're making your design and renovation plans to even if you've already got, furniture and decor pieces in place and you need arrangement ideas. Did that with Mandy at her condo. I'm like, no, move that, change that.
Yeah.
So
I'm telling
it's
you.
very purposeful, yeah, because I can't be everywhere and neither can my team. So thank goodness for technology. Happy to do that. And it can be, a few minutes or up to an hour. Sometimes I get diarrhea of the mouth and get, tired of chatting.
You're my
'Cause I'm
kind of girl.
sure
Start chatting, So this will be posted on YouTube as well. Am I okay to share your information with anybody
Oh,
who might watch it on
absolutely,
YouTube as well?
absolutely. They're
Okay,
away.
cool.
They're
Well, we
away.
are past the top of the hour here. Any
Oh,
one
sorry.
last question before we go to be cognizant of time? All right. I am so grateful, Linda.
Thank
I need to
you.
be told what to do. Like I only wear black and white because I'm not to be trusted to pick my own things, right?
Be
Like
trendy, lady. Come on,
I'm
get on
I'm not to be trusted. So I need Linda to tell me, okay, you can do that tile, but it needs to be in gray. Or you can
Yeah.
do that, you need that in white. Yeah. Like, so thank you, Linda, for your expertise.
Thank you,
And please
everyone. Great seeing
absolutely get a
you.
hold of her if you need
Thank
her.
you. Love you.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.